Hi there, YouTube, and all my subscriber friends. This is Garrett with Houseless on Wheels. And yesterday, I got something in the mail that I'm hoping will benefit not only myself, but more importantly, all of you, my YouTube viewers. I decided to get a high-definition camcorder. Now, for the longest time I was using my cell phone. But no longer, because I now have my camcorder. Let me switch back over to the cell phone. That way I can actually show you the camcorder that I just purchased. Okay, now that we're back on the cell phone, I can show you my new camcorder. It's a Sony Handycam. It's an HDR CX430. And I know this model is, I think this model is 3 years old or something like that, but there are certain things about this that I very much like, including the balanced optical steady shot. And I have to turn it on in order for you to be able to see it. Their newer models, from my understanding, still have this technology. I'm not 100% sure, but can you see how the lens on the inside is moving to compensate the movement of my hand? And it makes a world of a difference, let me tell you. Before, I was actually considering purchasing some sort of stabilizer, that way I can record more steadily. But with this, I don't have to do that. I mean, it's not perfect, but I've recorded side by side with the cell phone versus the camcorder, and it's a world of a difference. Now, this screen, like most camcorders, it does flip around. So nothing particularly special about that. It has a 30x optical zoom. Now that is actually one of the selling points that I wanted for a camcorder, and it's one of the reasons why I went with a camcorder instead of a DSLR. Well, let's be honest, DSLRs are rather expensive. But it having a 30x optical zoom plus a 25x digital zoom on top of that, and supposedly there's a setting in here, which I haven't looked for yet, which will allow this camera to zoom in 250 times. I've seen it done on YouTube. I don't know, because I don't know if it's the same model, but supposedly it does it, and I'll have to update you on that. But it's only an 8.9 megapixel, which isn't a big deal to me because I usually am used to recording on an 8 megapixel cell phone anyway, so that doesn't necessarily bother me. It's got 32 gigabytes of internal memory, and it also has an SD slot, so that way I can add more memory on top of that. It has a separate headphone jack and a separate microphone jack. And I'm not so much concerned about the headphone jack. That is a nice bonus though. But I really was looking for a camera or a camcorder that I could plug in an external mic at some point. I don't need one now, but at some point, if I'm ever traveling or just outside or whatnot, I'm going to want an external microphone. So those are some features that I very much appreciate. Another thing that it has that I was looking at was a hot shoe. And I know DSLR cameras typically have them. I don't know of too many that don't, but most handheld camcorders that are within the price range that I wanted to spend did not have this feature. So that was another thing I looked into. And I also purchased a couple of extra extended batteries. Now I paid just over $300 for the camcorder itself. I bought it used, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with it. Aside from there's a little bit of tape residue, which I can easily take care of that. Didn't come with a manual or software or a box, but everything else it came with. It came with a standard battery, a charger, and whatnot. But I bought a quick charger, so I don't even think I'll ever use the charger that you can plug into the DC in port. This is going to be the first video that I've ever shot with this camcorder. So I really don't know how much of a difference it's going to make until I'm actually doing the editing. So I'd actually like to do some side-by-side comparison. So let's go ahead and bring the camcorder in with my cell phone. Okay, now there's two of me. This is not a good situation the majority of the time. But in this application, I think, never mind. So it could just be the screen on the camcorder itself, but as far as I can tell, the camcorder seems like it has better video already. I've adjusted the settings in the camcorder to do 1080p recording, but if it could just be the screen, the viewfinder that I'm looking at, which happens to look nicer than the screen on my cell phone. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I've got a really nice screen on my cell phone, but it could be. I'm not going to dismiss that as a possibility. But one other thing I wanted to mention as to why I chose a camcorder, and I know I haven't gone over all the features of the camcorder. It's new to me. I just got it yesterday. I've done a little bit of research on it, but I'm still learning this, and I'm using a new recording software, so I'm learning that as well. Ideally, I want to start adventuring into better quality of videos as I'm doing my van build. So that way, when I go into another YouTube project that I have in mind, which again, I'm not going to talk about that right now, I'll already have some of that stuff down. As far as, the picture quality, the editing quality, hopefully that will improve. It might not. I might just go back to Windows Movie Maker Live. I don't know. But I'm figuring that out as I go. One other thing I wanted to mention as to why I chose a camcorder rather than a DSLR camera is because I don't necessarily need all of the functionalities of DSLR. One thing I do really like about DSLRs is you can control everything as far as the picture quality and the color schemes and the white balances and all this other stuff, and that's all well and good, but I'm not sure if I have an interest in that. I might, which means I could venture down that road later on, but as of right now, I'm hoping that this camcorder is already going to be a huge improvement. Now, I do know, as far as the viewfinder is concerned, from what I can tell, the night quality video recording is much better on the camcorder. And the microphone's a 5.1 surround sound microphone. I don't know how useful that feature is. It might be useful, but I imagine that most of my viewers use some sort of stereo sound, so it doesn't necessarily matter that it's stereo versus 5.1, it should still sound better. I guess we'll find out. Obviously, you're going to know right now because you're watching the video, but it's so much different when I'm recording the video right now, and then later you're going to notice the difference between the cell phone microphone and the camcorder microphone. But I like the convenience of a camcorder that I don't have to mess around with all of the settings. Maybe choose a different scenery setting, but not have to do too much more than that. So again, maybe one day I'll want to venture into something a little bit more than that. And I think 9 megapixels is going to be more than sufficient for my photography needs later on down the road. I could be wrong, but at a certain point, I mean, this was a few years ago. I think this camcorder is a few years old. It was a $700 to $800 camcorder, and I got it for a little over $300. Like I said, I think it was $305, and that included shipping. I got off of Amazon in their used section, and I've noticed that there are a lot of good used options out there as far as products are concerned. This one, I wanted to have, high definition video recording at this point. And I know my cell phone does it, but one thing that really caused me to want to move into the direction of a camcorder sooner than later is the fact that I've been noticing on longer video recordings with my cell phone that my voice syncing with the video, there'd be a lag. And you, my YouTube viewers, seem to enjoy all my explanations on what I'm doing as far as my van build is concerned, and that requires me to do longer videos. Well, I have a serious problem with there being a lag in my lips moving versus, my voice, which comes in sometimes even 3 seconds prior to you see my lips move. And I'm just going off of the microphone of the cell phone. I really don't want to deal with that. But I think you, my YouTube viewers, and my supporters deserve to see far better synchronicity as far as voice versus lips moving versus whatever else is entailed that I'm losing as far as, image and video quality. Now, if that wasn't an issue, then I would have probably just kept on going with the cell phone for a little bit longer, but I had the funds to do it, so why not? The extra batteries, I think I paid $30 for the fast charger and the 2 extended batteries. They're like 2400 milliamp hour. It's supposed to last quite a while. I've got one in the camcorder right now. I don't know how long the batteries last, but both of them are fully charged. The standard battery that came with the camcorder is fully charged. So anyway, there's other things that I got yesterday, the day before, and a couple of things that I'm still expecting today. I went on a little bit of a spending spree, I guess you could say, or shopping spree, whatever. They're things that I've needed, like a new tripod, because the tripod I bought at Fry's Electronics sometime, maybe a month and a half ago, give or take, it's flimsy. It was only $8 or $9. I didn't expect much out of it, but it's flimsy. It's well abused from dropping my phone so many times, bumping into it and knocking it over, and then just some of the weird positions that I put my phone through and put the tripod in. You don't use a flimsy tripod in order to do some of those things, but I wanted to get that shot. Wanted to get just that right angle, and I bought what is supposed to be a much sturdier and also a much taller. I've also got a couple other things. I've had a conversation with one of my subscribers about my fans over here, my ventilation fans, and I had mentioned that I have another device that I plan on using in order to cool me. Now, the ventilation fans are just that. Their ventilation is to keep the air from becoming stagnant in the van. Yeah, that's good enough for me on most hot days, but there are going to be, I know that there are going to be those days, especially since it's only June and it's already been up in the 90s, and that's unusual for Washington State, at least on the western side where I live. So I have little doubt that we're going to reach the hundreds this year. I mean, we might not, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did. And so I have a device that I think will serve very well under those conditions, and I'd like to talk about that in another video soon. But this video has already taken me out of sync from the ventilation series that I have going on. It's not going to be a long series. I think 2, 3, 4 videos, something like that. It shouldn't be more than 4 videos. I could really do it in just 2. But I was in a hurry to get the one video out, and I wanted to do it all in one, but I also didn't want it to be like a 2-hour video. So I'm going to continue editing that, and in theory, that will be the next video. I'm gonna go ahead and stop right here because I'm just rambling at this point. But I was super excited about this camcorder because I can't wait to see what it's capable of. So anyway, you already have gotten a sample of it. You're benefiting from what I'm just doing right now. I have no clue. I'm completely ignorant at this point. So looking forward to it. You know, not to mention I felt kind of left out. I mean, Ghost Wolf Art bought an HD camera. You know, Art, sorry that camera didn't work out. But for what it's worth, in a way you kind of inspired me to want to get this camcorder. I mean, I've been wanting to get this camcorder anyway, and my cell phone really pushed me to get it. But you played a role in it too. Same with a lot of YouTube channels. I like seeing these high quality channels, and I'm like, man, I need to be one of them. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. So I'm hoping I like the results of this video, and I hope all of you do as well. So anyway, look forward to the next ventilation video that's going to be coming up here pretty soon. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Take care, love others as you love yourself, and I'll see you next time.